Everybody, it's Jim here, and I'm not going to keep you waiting. I know you saw a box in the thumbnail. This is the amp. This is a Tone King Gremlin combo, got from the kind people at Sweetwater. And I will say this is not a sponsored video, but you call up your rep. Doesn't matter if it's for this or for anything else. You might be surprised what kind of deal you might be able to work out. So I would highly recommend that if you are in the United States of America. Recently, I did say to you guys on a stream that I had tried a bunch of amps in person that I had not ever had the opportunity to do so, and this was one of them. I was blown away by it. I could not believe how good it sounded, and it was enough for me to, make the phone call and see if we could work something out. Now, unlike the Mesa Boogie, this amp is extremely simple, albeit with a few very clever additions at the rear panel. But let's start at the top here. You do have a rhythm input, a lead input, a volume, and a tone. That's it. I love how simple that is, and if you can't get a good sound out of something like this, it's kind of going to be on you at that point, and I do appreciate that. It needs to be mentioned, this is a gorgeous turquoise Toylex. I have a thing for that. But if we flip this guy around, I'll do it the right way. The rear panel is cool. You have the Iron Man 2 Attenuator, which is awesome. This thing by itself is a few $100. Keep that in mind here. This is a line out. This will let you go into your DAW or your console for recording, but it does not have speaker emulation on it. You have your speaker cabinet right here, or your speaker connection right here, and an on-off switch. No standby or anything like that. You got a big old KT66 power tube, and one thing that is so cool about this amp is you can actually change it to something entirely different if you so desired, such as a 6L6, a 6V6, an EL34. I gotta finish reading the manual, but when I read that, I was like, that is amazing. You can do so much as far as experimentation with this amplifier and the different tubes that you wish to use in it. It's hand wired in the USA. Also, it has two preamp tubes that are 12AX7s that can also be swapped out for something else if you want to reduce the gain, which is definitely something some people might want to consider if headroom is a priority. So for today's demo, we're going to do a basic overview of the very simple controls, which I do appreciate. Of course, we're going to start with the Telecaster, and after that, I'll give you my final thoughts on the amp. So let's go. Luckily, there's not a whole lot of options as far as treble, bass, middle, presence. There's just one tone knob, which is awesome. One volume knob to go along with it. I'm going to let you know where we're at on the amp itself as we go through each kind of setting. We're going to start with the Telecaster because it's the root of all my sound. It's my favorite guitar. It's my favorite tone. So what better place than there to begin our little journey with this gremlin. Right now we are on the rhythm channel and the volume is down all the way. So I'm going to roll it up to 2. We're going to get started. And that was with the tone knob at 5. I'm going to put it up to 6, go back to the neck pickup here. Really bright there on the treble pickup. Turn it up to 3. You can hear that starting to break up a little bit with the volume on 3 on the rhythm channel. That means when I switch to humbuckers, it's already really going to start to have a little bit of grit to it. But I'm going to turn it up to 4 here. We still have the tone control at 5 on the amp itself. We're going to see if this starts breaking up. I imagine that it's going to start at this point with the amplifier. That's a little hairy. So if I go to the middle though, I should clean it up a little bit. Really compressed sounding. It sounds really good in the room. I like this a lot. Crank it up a little. Actually, you know what? Let's experiment with the tone, because any further we dial up the volume, it's just going to start really breaking up. I'm going to put the tone all the way up to 8. We're going to try to not go as extreme as possible. We're not going to go to 9. So on the bridge pickup tone at 8, kind of scared. Almost Voxy, middle. Back it up to about 6. This is really cool. It reacts like an old Fender Champ a little bit. Go to 5. Didn't break up as much as I thought it was going to. Push it a little more. Push it to 6. Didn't know what I was going to play there for a second. All right, rhythm pickup. That sounds pretty cool. Let's try and get this guy to really go. You hear that? So at 7.5 on the bridge pickup, that should definitely get us some classic rock. With volume on, of course. Dimed. Very cool. So I'm going to DAC it off a little bit. We're going to see how this reacts to pedals. More than that, we'll try a little bit of reverb from the volante. Now we're going to try a little bit more drive. We're going to use blue. So disengaged. Bass starts to get a little flubby, I do notice with this amp. The more gain you push through it, at least with the Telecaster, which might not bode well when it comes to the Les Paul, because obviously that's going to have a little bit more bottom end to it. But overall, I think this really nails the classic sound of a Telecaster. I feel like if you just had this amp, one overdrive, like I really like the Benson with it a lot, just very slight coloration here. Before, so if I just do a... Because then I clean up a lot too, even with the middle position here. Yeah, I think it works really well. I think the sweet spot for Tele to keep the clean is between, you can go a little bit over 4 and keep it if you want just that little bit extra of. You just start to hear a little bit of that breakup. Really, dead clean is 3. All right, that's going to wrap up for the rhythm channel. Now we're into the lead tweed. Same thing with the tone. The tone is at 5 o'clock. Start at 2. Okay, so even at 2, that's a lot. That's a lot already starting to break up. So. That's a really cool push sound in the middle position on that, but like I said, we have almost no headroom on this second channel, on the lead channel, so if you're expecting to be able to use it as such, nah, you're not gonna have the best time. So it sounds great. Just no headroom. Up to 3. Four. I found that this is the sweet spot. The tone hasn't moved that much in this because I really feel like at 5 with the Telecaster, it's very well balanced. We're putting the gain, well, the volume, to 6 on the lead channel. Should be a big G chord to sound awesome. That is so good. Yeah, that's great. I like that a lot. 7.5. That's starting to get into the real grime category here. I'm not so sure how much I'm going to like it with the gain pushed up, but I am going to max it now. Up from 7.5 to 9. A lot of buzz. All right, now we're just going to test some attenuation here. This is with no attenuation whatsoever. And that is with the volume at 8. So let's turn it 1 click. One more click. Another click. Another click. It's like silent. I could talk over this. That's very quiet. That's very manageable. That's right, barely louder than my voice. I think it has one more click. Oh my God, it does. Okay. It's so quiet. So this was at the lowest attenuation. Now, no attenuation. Probably not the best thing as far as a sound example for it, but hey, proves the point. And that concludes the section of botched playing, replayed riffs, and all sorts of other things that happen naturally because I am not the greatest guitar player in the entire world. But I wanted to end on the attenuation because there's one cool feature we have yet to talk about on this amp that might not be fully appreciated in a live or a studio situation. Even though this isn't that loud, I could easily see myself gigging with this at almost any hour so long as it isn't at the full 5 watts. The line out. Now, the line out has no speaker cab emulation. That is amazing. I love that because what that means is if you have this attenuated all the way down with the Iron Man 2 that's built into it, and you heard it's like a whisper, you could have it going right into your DAW via your interface and then put in any IR you want. And you could be recording via the power section of the actual amp itself. That is amazing. And if you're playing live, you can take the line out right into an IR pedal, such as the TC Electronics version. I think it's $100. Boom, that goes right to the PA system front of house. You are ready to go. Or you could plug it right into your own PA system. So you'll have stage volume that you can alter how much of it you're getting based on the Iron Man attenuator, and then also a feed out of it going through the big old speakers. Microphone might not necessarily apply for an amp like this. The one thing I wanted to make sure to go over in this video, and something I haven't seen in depth from the few videos that I have seen on this amplifier, is testing the line out into Pro Tools and then using a third-party IR to see what kind of sounds you can get at a lower volume or recording direct in general. Right now, the attenuator is cranked, so it's going to be as quiet as possible, but the volume is at 7. The tone is also at 7. We are on the lead channel. You're going to be able to hear the camera audio, which isn't going to be perfect, but it will give you an idea of just how quiet it is in the room. And also, of course, you're going to be hearing what we record into Pro Tools. So, let's go. Now let's switch to the clean channel. So with the Telecaster, I think this thing is aces. Absolutely as good as you're gonna get if you're looking for those old kind of blackface tones, and then you switch it over to the lead channel, you get awesome tweed, almost getting into like that old Supro style of gain to it. It was really gnarly. Pros of the amp are very obvious. I love the simplicity of it. I do love that it does have the line out, which gives you a little bit more versatility, so to speak. I do like that everything is streamlined. There's nothing really to fiddle with. You can set in a tone and forget it. It just works when you have a high quality amplifier like this. But there are a few things that do annoy me. They do. The first thing that really annoys me is you do have 2 channels. Why not have an output for a foot switch Why do I have to have two separate cables coming out from the top here and then plugged into an ABY channel if I want to channel switch on the fly? Because in essence here, this can be used as a 2-channel amp on the go. Why? Why would you do that? I don't understand the train of thought with this one. And, you know, even if you don't supply the foot switch, that's fine. You know, a lot of companies don't do that. But the fact that you're forced to use two separate cables coming out and then to buy an ABY switch, that kind of sucks. That really sucks, and I'm not really the biggest fan of that. The only other thing I didn't love about this amp, when you turn the volume up past 8, any of the gain, whether it's on the rhythm or the lead, it becomes way too much for me. It starts to fizz, and it's just not a sound that I really go for. But I don't think many people that are shopping for an amp like this would push to that kind of territory with it. But if you wanted a little bit more gain out of this amp, as you heard when we used the Benson preamp, it did a really good job of pushing it over the top while the volume was at a manageable level on the amplifier itself. So that would be my advice if you're looking for something a little bit more in the output/gain department. But overall here, when I was in the store, I could not believe how much I preferred this to the actual Fender Princeton, which is one of my all-time favorite amplifiers. I tried one of the blackface modern reissues of those back to back with this. It was no contest. Like absolutely no contest. I realized that there are a few trade-offs with each amp, whereas this one comes with the attenuator and the line out and the two different kind of channels voicings on it. The Princeton does have the spring reverb tank, which is amazing, and it does have a built-in vibrato. But that being said, I think you could get away with this amp with two pedals if you really wanted to nail a classic sound. Pick a nice overdrive or transparent drive like the Benson preamp, and then a pedal that I don't even have anymore, a Strymon Flint. Add yourself some reverb and some tremolo from that, and you are all good. You cover almost every single bass. It nails vintage tones. You turn it up a little bit more, and you start getting into some classic rock territory, even on the rhythm. It is really, really an outstanding amplifier, and I like it a whole lot. But if you found this video useful, feel free to leave a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you think about this amp. Let me know if you think this is way too much money for a 5-watt amp, because I personally do not. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you on the next video. Take it easy, everybody.